take us over the road.
Bobby used to be a member of the Reclaimers, a group of male freedom fighters in Maryland.
A reclaimer? Here?
Bobby gives a sanitation worker a concussion to steal her truck, and Adam is horrified by that display of violence. Kara interrogates Hope. Actually, she just takes the opportunity to yell at her, using the attack on the sanitation worker as proof of Adam's savagery. The orders are now to shoot Adam on sight. Hope explains Adam being programmed to be peaceful, and she delivers the message that women can be violent too. Wow, didn't see that coming. Kara changes tack. If Hope will help her, she promises to help bring in Adam peacefully. Hope agrees. Bobby drives Adam to Maryland, and they enter a quarantined football stadium where the Reclaimers have been hiding, because women wouldn't step anywhere near a football stadium. That's literally what they say.
Women got no use for a football stadium, that's for damn sure. It's a man's game.
This film is so sexist. Their leader is a man known only as John Doe, played by Cliff DeYoung, who is also an alien in an episode of Deep Space Nine, who takes Adam into his fold. He is supposed to be the misogynistic counterpart to the evil lesbian leaders Riggs and Stokes, to give the film balance, and he spouts off these paranoid ramblings that sound like something you'd find on anti-feminist websites today.
The lesbian conspiracy, son. It took years, but the bitches got themselves equal rights, got elected to Congress, screwed their way into the corporate offices, all the while pretending that they were good wives and mothers. But all along they were cozying up to each other, you see, just waiting to get rid of us, biding their time until they didn't need our seat anymore.
The problem is, it's really hard to tell what's just his paranoid misogyny and what's legitimately supposed to be part of the premise. He also comes off as more sympathetic than Stokes and Riggs, which ultimately reinforces the misogyny. John explains that women invented the Y-bomb to eradicate men.
My God, son, they tried to commit gendercide!
The way that this line is delivered makes it sound like it's a parody of the word genocide, like it's just thrown out there as a joke. Actually, the term has been used academically since 1985, with the book Gendercide, The Implications of Sex Selection, by Marianne Warren. Feminists consider the systematic killing of a specific sex to be an actual serious issue, while this movie treats the idea with flippancy. While obviously nothing of this scale has ever occurred, the tactic of targeting men for the purpose of eliminating an enemy's potential military is hardly original, and this practice falls under the academic definition of gendercide. It's actually discussed in the original book. The film just treats it as over-the-top silliness.
But their poison couldn't kill us all, and soon we're gonna put them bitches back in the place where the Holy Bible says they ought to be.
John is the first person in the movie we see to be a Christian. He worships the Father and the Son, aspects of a male deity in a patriarchal religion. All of the women believe in a paganistic Mother Earth goddess, and try to wipe out Christianity in a manner evocative of the Soviet Union outlawing religion.
You better pray to Mother Earth that I win this election.
Given the biblical references with Adam as the first man, and the fact that this is an American movie, it seems clear to me that Christianity is supposed to be accepted as the one true religion, and I think we're supposed to respect John for keeping his faith. At the same time, he takes it to the degree of an Al-Qaeda terrorist, so the film deserves a little credit for its depiction of problematic Christian piety. John tries to get Adam to be a warrior and Mockingjay symbol in their fight with the oppressive female government, but Adam refuses. He is a peaceful man. John threatens him, but Adam still says no. John figures he can't get Adam past his programming and has to use him for a purpose that's not directly violent. Meanwhile, Kara and Hope drive around and look for Adam. FBI contacts Kara to say that a Y wants to talk to her. Kara allows it, and John comes on speakerphone.
Kara, darling!
If it isn't Johnny Reclaimer himself.
John the Reclaimer? Wow, Master Chief has really changed.
Demon.
John tells her that he has Adam and offers him in a trade, while also threatening to put him out there as a Mockingjay symbol and cause a mass panic if she doesn't agree. In exchange, he wants female prisoners for his men to essentially keep as sex slaves to keep up morale and try to grow the male population. I'm not sure if the Reclaimers are supposed to be genetically immune, or if he's just trying for that golden 3% chance of survival. This part is supposed to show him as morally reprehensible, as a counterpart to the evil women, but it's a problem when half his arguments sound reasonable in the setting. Kara ostensibly goes along with this arrangement. They meet outside the football stadium, and Kara shows up with 4 women in prison jumpsuits. John sends Adam over and he collects his women. Except, no, they're actually armed FBI agents. The fact that this is supposed to work as a twist is predicated on the assumption that women are weak and would not be assumed to be proficient enough to be FBI agents. It's like that riddle about the man and his son getting in an accident, the man dying, and the son rushed to the hospital only to have the doctor say, "I cannot operate on this man, he is my son." And it being really hard for people to guess that the doctor is a woman because of our understanding of gender roles. Women are nurses, men are doctors. It also feels like the only reason these women are FBI agents is because of this highly artificial fictional environment. So it doesn't do anything to challenge those gender roles either. The FBI captured John and bombed the stadium, killing the rest of the Reclaimers.
These people are gone.
This is treated as a tragedy brought about by Riggs's bloodlust, and Kara criticizes her for that afterwards, saying that aside from John, the Reclaimers are just too old to be dangerous. That's stupid ageism mixed with sexism. They have machine guns and a misogynistic ideology. Of course they're dangerous. The movie, however, spins this attack as Riggs being this evil anti-male bigot. Riggs goes to speak to Adam, who's resting in the science lab as scientists examine him. Riggs wants to smooth things over with public relations by taking some photos with him. But he holds her accountable for the slaughter of the Reclaimers, even though they were a terrorist group. I mean, I can respect trying to find a peaceful solution. I like Doctor Who's focus on pacifism, but these guys were active threats. So bombing their base shouldn't be treated as burning down an orphanage full of puppies. Adam says that violence isn't genetic, that women can be as violent as men, and he brings up John's line about women making the Y-bomb.
Sounds like Doe has been filling you full of his crazy conspiracy theories.
When she says it like that, it sounds like he was right, that women did try to commit gendercide. So wait, was it not an attempt to take out Al-Qaeda? Was it actually a lesbian conspiracy to kill all the men in the world? And if that's true, was the rest of his misogynistic rant true? The fact that this is ambiguous is a serious problem. Riggs reveals that she has injected Adam with Y necrosis to clean up the mess, and he only has a short time to live. Wait, wasn't he immune? How has he survived this long if he wasn't immune? Consistency, people, consistency! Kara feels sorry for Adam and helps Hope rescue him. She uses the main scientist's attraction to her to get her to turn a blind eye and help her take Adam out. They take Adam to the cabin, where Esther tries to cure him based on research that she conducted during the war. She requires blood from a man immune to the virus, so Kara goes to pick up John. Wait a minute, aren't all those male sex workers in police custody? Is it really more preferable to grab a terrorist leader than an aging escort? Why couldn't we use this guy? While that's going on, Hope and Adam have an emotional discussion. Hope says that Adam started out as just an experiment for her, but she has grown to love him. On my first viewing, I thought this would be the point where Hope, after first making the statement about not being Adam's mother, now accepts Adam as her son. But nope, we have something far more disturbing. This is a romantic scene where they confess their love for one another, kiss, and then have sex. Ew. This is child grooming, pure and simple. She raised him for the explicit purpose of making a mate. I think the only way they could have not noticed this is because of our gender roles. Masculinity is supposed to be inherently strong, while femininity is supposed to be inherently weak, and men are supposed to always want sex. As a result, people who aren't actually feminists have a really hard time accepting the fact that women can rape men, and that this has the same value of a crime as men raping women. This extends to women raping young boys, which Adam technically is because he's only 35 days old or something like that. Whenever there's a news story about an adult woman raping a young boy, or an adult man says that a woman raped him when he was young, tons of people, mostly male, say that the victim is actually a successful sexual conquistador, or that he is a weakling for not enjoying a success that men should be proud of. The truth is that men and women are equal, and they have equal capacity for strength and weakness, to be abusers and to be victims. Anyway, after this disturbing night together, Hope wakes up to find Adam in a comatose state, with weird skin blemishes. Fortunately, Kara shows up with John in tow. Wait a minute, she just walked out of the FBI headquarters with a terrorist leader? How did that work? Did she just seduce all the guards or something? John tries to scare them. Okay. But Kara and Hope hold him down, and Esther draws blood from him. Esther makes a serum and tries to cure Adam. While they're waiting for results, Kara and Hope talk. Because Kara is what passes for an attractive butch lesbian in Hollywood, she sits with her legs spread apart. Hilarious.
Fuck you.
Kara shares that she had an abusive father who beat up her mother, and the Y-bomb killing him was like a miracle, thus giving her a sympathetic reason to dislike men. I think that's pretty remarkable. Sexist characters like Spike and Buffy are often made more sympathetic by giving them sympathetic backstories that explain their prejudices, and then they have a chance to redeem themselves. But due to male writers not being able to see themselves in women who hate men, the reverse is really rare. Kara is humanized, and that is pretty awesome.
The Y-bomb was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Hope talks about her time growing up, wondering what men were like, making a strong parallel to a lesbian girl. Kara then legitimizes Hope's heterosexuality in the manner of a straight woman to a lesbian friend, which is a little progressive, but it's still making a joke out of homophobia being the norm. It is good to see Kara redeemed of her heterophobia, though. Kara indicates that if Hope weren't straight, Kara would want to date her, which means that she now respects her and everything that she was trying to do for Adam, and is basically redeemed. Wait a minute, if Hope and Kara are outside, who's watching John? Oh yeah, no one. Smart move. He persuades Esther to come close, and then he grabs her around the neck with his handcuff chain and makes her untie him. Kara comes in with her gun and tries to get him to release her, but John punches her and knocks her out. He grabs the gun, makes Hope uncuff him, and then takes her as his hostage. Hope tries to overpower him, making him drop the gun, and he wrestles her into Kara's car. Fortunately, Adam wakes up and finds the strength to do one last thing before he dies. He grabs the gun and holds it on John. John tries to preach his misogynistic ideology, but Adam isn't buying it. John tells Adam that he has to shoot him to stop him, and knows that he won't because Adam isn't a real man, which John associates with the desire to commit violence as much as Riggs does. Despite being engineered to be completely non-violent, Adam can't let John hurt Hope, and so perverts the very nature of his being by committing violence and shooting him dead. Adam collapses soon after that, apologizes to Hope, and dies. The women hold a Viking funeral, burning the cabin to the ground with the bodies inside, which is a great thing for nature worshippers to do in the middle of the woods. What could go wrong? Kara says that she'll say that Hope and Adam died in the fire, and that John escaped in Kara's car. Hope says that Kara is a good woman. Kara tells Hope that Adam was a good man, and Hope hugs Esther. Ah, friendship. Hope gets in the car and leaves town. 3 months later, Hope is working as a cook and a waitress in a diner in West Virginia. Esther comes in as a customer. Hope covertly asks her for the test results, and Esther confirms that she's carrying Adam's son. So I guess he's the last man? What does that title even mean? Wait a minute, isn't the Y necrosis still a problem? Was that serum supposed to make the kid immune or something? You know, despite being administered after they had sex? Why don't they elaborate on that? It seems important. Okay, this is what I think is going on. I think there are 2 versions of the story in play. They first wrote a draft that had Adam as literally the only man in the world, hence everyone being shocked by his appearance, and at the end he has sex with Hope, dies in some way, and then she finds out that she's pregnant with his son. And then they made another draft that had other men in the world, and they introduced the concept of this virus that killed off most but not all men. The script was edited really badly, so the beginning and end still show details of the original premise that don't fit in with the later draft. That's probably what happened. Hope wanders out of the diner and stares into the uncharted future. We're left with the implication that the world would be set to order by this introduction of a new man. Similar to the end of both Terminator 2 with the dark highway that represents the uncertain future ahead, and the first Terminator, where Hope has found new purpose in being the mother of the Messiah. It's also similar to the end of Escape from Planet of the Apes, where baby Milo/Caesar survives the brutal assassination of his parents, and the movie ends on an uncertain but hopeful note. On the other hand, I might be concerned for the boy's well-being, considering that she groomed her last kid for marriage. After she gives birth, Esther should stage an intervention and rescue the boy from her. She could give him to Kara. Sure, Kara hates men, but at least he can trust her not to rape him. You know, this is why straight women shouldn't have boys. And so concludes The Last Man on Planet Earth. This movie is weird. I mean really, truly surreal. It boggles the mind. This movie is so completely sexist, and it came out in 1999. It's sexist, racist, homophobic, and also transphobic in its equating gender to chromosomes. It's an absurd story, riddled with plot holes, covered with microaggressions, and wrapped in the mystery of who thought this was a good idea. It's horrible. I hate it. And at the same time, I kind of love it. Call it a guilty pleasure, but this movie amuses me to no end. It's so absurd that it's unintentionally funny. Sure, it may have all the offensive stuff in there, but it also has its attractive qualities as well. Where else are you going to find a film with this many female characters? Due to the casting sexism of Hollywood, this sexist film is actually kind of fun to watch, because it delivers a female presence absent from other movies. Kara Hastings is a badass lesbian FBI agent of color who fights terrorists.
I won't be getting a promotion for letting an old reclaimer get away with my car. But I'll be alright.
That's awesome. You can't even find that in the Avengers. Maybe its appeal to me is similar to the blaxploitation genre to black people. Yeah, it's bad quality and filled with offensive stereotypes, but when you're just starved for films filled with people that look like you take what you can get. Additionally, I get the sense that they were really trying to make this a good science fiction film. There is an attention to detail in the props and setting that makes it clear that someone cared about quality. If you can just turn your brain off for a moment and forget about the plot holes, you can appreciate the way that it really feels like a different culture in the near future. If that sounds interesting to you, I do recommend checking it out, if just to gawk at how weird it is. If not, avoid it like a man avoids Y necrosis.